them as much as we mentioned before. Like they have a harder criteria, but the way that you dress tells a lot about your personality and the way that you carry yourself. So I think that's definitely something that they take in consideration. And I went to this comedy show last week, and there was this couple that got engaged, right? And guess what? They were matching like pastel colors. Like I remember, like the girl was wearing like a little bluish pastel color, and the guy was wearing like a little pinkish purplish color. All right. And what the comedian said, like, oh, she dressed you, right? Because I just found like as soon as he mentioned fashion, I was like, yo, it's true. Like sometimes women they're going to dress you, and they're gonna.
What the is we doing?
Oh, good morning, everybody. This is Shots of Info Saturday edition. For today, we'll be reacting to a video titled 10 Lies All Girls Tell Guys that we actually believed. This video is by Alpha M. He has really good content. I used to watch it when I was younger. I actually haven't watched it recently, so this was going to be my first time watching this video, and we're going to react to it as well. All right. So let's just go ahead and get it started. Okay. All right. Can you see the screen?
Okay.
Awesome. Make it full screen.
Might have to turn down the volume a little bit. It was pretty loud last time, but we'll see.
Okay, cool.
What do you think we are, stupid? Don't answer that. What's up, gentlemen? So today's video falls under the category of Say What? Because today I'm going over 10 lies that those sassy, spicy, scandalous senoritas tell us that we as dudes believe. Before we get started, you gotta promise me that you don't get all like super pissed off and go yell at your spicy senorita, because the truth is, these women are telling us these lies to protect our tender, fragile feelings. Just want to crush and damage our fragile little ego that is fragile and little. Gentlemen, if you promise and agree, drop me one of these to be like, yo, Alpha, my ego indeed may be fragile, but I can handle the truth. Number one, I've never done this before. First, you're like, yes, jackpot! Then you start doing your thing. Hold up, if you've never done that before, why are you so damn good at it? Which brings us to the second biggest lie that women tell us men. I've only been with fill in the blank dudes. Whenever a woman tells you she's been with like X number of dudes, you can safely multiply that number by 3. Promise not to get pissed. I'm just letting you know the truth of the situation, because there is a humongous double standard in our society. As dudes, we like to brag and boast about our sexual conquest. Women, on the other hand, are like, yo, I can't really talk about it, or I don't want somebody to think that I'm some type of sassy slut. It means the chances are she is going to drastically play down or reduce the amount of people that she calls friends. Friend. He's just a friend, which brings us to number 3. Gentlemen, the truth is, if she ever tells you he's just a friend, chances are that friend is absolutely like a strong, strapping stud muffin, and you're like, damn, he's pretty good looking. You've never like done that? Yes, she has. Calm down. This isn't that big of a deal, gentlemen. I just feel it's my job and my obligation to let you know the real situation with those spicy senoritas, which brings me to number 4. I don't care how much money he makes. Loosely translates to his ass better have a job. You don't need to be killing it and driving a Lambo to be attractive to those spicy senoritas. You just gotta get a job. You just gotta make sure that you've got a goal, a vision of your career trajectory or path that does not include sitting on your parents' sofa smoking weed. You may be one charming, sexy son of a bitch, but it's gonna get real old if she's gotta constantly be paying and picking your ass up. Number 5, I don't care what he looks like. You don't care if I dress like crap. And you don't care if my hair's greasy, oily, and has a bunch of dandruff flakes. And you don't care if I'm an ungroomed savage. Oh, okay, I understand you're lying, gentlemen. The fact is, not only does she want your ass to dress well so you're not embarrassing her when you walk into a party holding her hand, she wants your hair game to be strong, and she wants your grooming routine. To hit that link down below and go check out today's video sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. Gentlemen, the quickest and easiest way for you to look amazing, be well groomed, and satisfy those spicy senoritas is to hit sorts of money on super overpriced blades. Gentlemen, the fact is,
Okay, we don't like ads. We're not getting paid for that.
and number 6. I promise I won't get mad. Oh, okay, you're not gonna get mad. You're just gonna make me sleep on the couch and not give me nookie for a month? Let me give you some scenarios where this might actually come up. Oh my God, Brian, don't you think Brenda, my best friend, is super sexy? Seriously, you can tell me. I won't get mad. Well, if you won't get mad, okay, hell yeah, she is. Or there's always, Brian, do these jeans make me look fat? You can tell me. I promise not to get mad. Hell yeah, I'm so, like, yes. And let's not forget, oh my God, Brian, look what I got you. Isn't it great? I bought one for myself too. We can go as twinsies. Do you love it or do you hate it? I won't get mad. I would not be caught dead wearing that. Instead, I love it. Number 7 is, I don't need a ring as long as we're together. That's what's important. T-minus 6 months until she's cheating on you with Brad. Women say this because they don't want to freak us dudes out, right? They don't want to put the pressure on too strong, but the truth is, if she ever says this, the pressure is on. The clock is ticking. She's not going to wait around forever for your sorry ass to be like, yo, will you marry me? I'm not saying that you should rush things or propose to somebody that you're not ready to or interested in marrying, but I'm just letting you know the facts and reality of the lying situation. A lie that women tell that we believe is, I won't tell anybody. Except my 3 best friends, and Mom, and Sheila, and Janice. Yep, definitely gotta tell Janice. You can always assume that if something happens, whether or not it's great, or it's bad, or it's whatever, even if you're like, yo, baby, please don't tell anybody, it would make me, like, really upset, and I'd be super embarrassed, and she's gonna be like, don't worry, sweetness, I won't. The fact is, she is, and she will. And I lie, a woman tells a dude that dudes believe for some reason is, my phone's about to die, which means I don't want to talk to you anymore right now. If you do continue to text, I'm not going to answer, and that's the reason. It's not that I don't want to, which is really the reason I'm not texting. It's because my phone is about to die. Gentlemen, this is the oldest trick in the book. You've used it, I've used it, we've all used it, so is she. And last, but certainly not least, number 10. Oh no, please have mercy right there. Yes, please, oh my God. Loosely translated into I want to go eat some pizza and watch the Kardashians. And that's it, gentlemen. The fact is, spicy senoritas are a lot of things. Mystical, magical, curious creatures, but they also are deceptively, like, scandalous from time to time. They are going to be telling us lies because as dudes, we are fragile. Our egos are like a tender little snowflake that is about to evaporate if we finally find out the reality of the situation, which she does not want to tell us.
All right. Oh, that was an interesting video. Actually, lots of the questions is definitely something that they tell. But what are your reaction towards that?
Well, I mean, like, a lot of that stuff we kind of touched on. Well, not necessarily the lying portion. That's something we were going to talk about in a topic for the podcast, right? Like lying and deceiving. But in any case, yeah, I would say that, a lot of that stuff can be true for sure. I would say that, as a society, and when we was talking about like, body count, right, that tends to be something that can be really problematic. Guys have a tendency of really having overinflated sense of self-worth related to that number, and women can be shamed for it. Now, there's another topic there that we can talk about in the future, body count. But yeah, what did any of those stand out to you in particular?
Oh yeah, couple of them. So never done it before.
Ooh.
I have heard that before. I completely agree. Like usually this comes to like when you're in bed with her, and she like you want to do something, and you just like, hey, let me show you this move. She's like, I never done this before, and then she has the rhythm. Well, or she's just a quick learner. I don't know, but yeah, that's definitely
could be.
They do that. He's just a friend. I think this one is one of the one that you just hear a lot, especially when you're talking to somebody or you are in a relationship. I had this situation that it says like he's just a friend. After we stop talking or we stop dating, next day or next week, they're dating. Yep. You know what I mean? So that's usually one of the strong ones that I can resonate with, and I agree completely with. Money and looks, I think you can argue that yes. Nowadays there's a lot of independent women who like they they go about, getting their own job, their own shit. They want to buy their own things, but ultimately they're always going to be that when they look into a man or when they start dating a man, it's always going to be the question that can he support my family? That's like the man's job, or well, one of the jobs, right? And it's a mutual thing. Like as a woman, I feel like you wouldn't want to support the man. It's just like kind of weird, pay for all this stuff.
I mean, you can at some point if things fall into hard times, loses the job, doesn't have anything going. Well, not necessarily that doesn't have anything going on, but it's just like he's got a string of bad luck. But that shouldn't be like normal, right? That should be an outlier. It shouldn't be a situation where you're not doing anything and you're not gonna do anything because she's making enough money for the both of you.
All right, yes. So let's actually correct it. Instead of money, let's say is like a purpose or like something that you're working towards. If a man doesn't have that, then I feel like a woman is not going to be attracted towards him. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be necessarily to money or how much money. Like he said like you don't have to be driving the Lamborghini or like have like $1 million in the bank. But if you're not constantly working towards getting something, maybe not a job, but like something that you're good at. Like if you're an artist, if you're pursuing that, like music or art or paintings or whatever it is, or YouTuber or whatever, if you don't have that constant step that you're taking every single day towards reaching that goal, then the woman is going to be definitely unattractive. And this all comes down to having your own purpose, right? Looks. I think that's actually a good one because we talked about before, like being fashionable. Like we want to look good, and maybe like facial wise or like body wise, it might not matter to them as much as we mentioned before. Like they have a harder criteria, but the way that you dress tells a lot about your personality and the way that you carry yourself. So I think that's definitely something that they take in consideration. And I went to this comedy show last week, and there was this couple that got engaged, right? And guess what? They were matching like pastel colors. Like I remember, like the girl was wearing like a little bluish pastel color, and the guy was wearing like a little pinkish purplish color, right? And what the comedian said, like, "Oh, she dressed you, right?" Because I just found like as soon as he mentioned fashion, I was like, "Yo, it's true. Like sometimes women they're going to dress you, and they're gonna have an opinion about how you're gonna dress." You know what I mean?
Especially if you don't have one for yourself.
Exactly. Especially if you don't have one, if you don't have a sense of fashion, they're definitely gonna have a huge impact on that. Mm-hmm. Other than that, the ring, I found it interesting. That's something. It's like the avoidable topic when you are like talking to a girl or starting to talk with a girl, or maybe you are already in a relationship. It's something about marrying, and we talk about marrying in the past in the podcast, and I found it really interesting because that's something that they never tell you straight up, but they are always going to be showing you a hint, because the woman, she wants to make sure that she's dating a guy that it's not going to be for the short term, or just unless like she's just also having like fucking around.
Yeah,
like the guy is.
For sure.
But if she's more committed, she's always going to be like bringing up the topic like, hey, you want kids someday, or what do you want to do, like like investing in ourselves.
Yeah, where do you see us in the future?
Pretty much, yeah. So there's always going to be the hint about getting married and you eventually putting the ring. So that's something that I definitely found interesting. And that one, the old one, this used to happen to me back in the high school, and like he said, I used it as well before. My phone is about to die, and that's definitely one of those hard truths that you want to tell someone when you really don't want to keep talking, or you just want to look at an asshole. But everybody knows you have a charger next to you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So chances.
I mean, there are occasions where that's not going to be the case, but oftentimes that's not really going to be true. And sometimes you just got to, from that perspective, I would say you have to look at, like we talked about it before, about like over texting, right? Like, are you guys texting way too much? because that's usually an indication that, you know, that's why that's happening, right? Like she doesn't want, or he doesn't want to, you know, come across as an asshole by telling you that he doesn't want to talk to you right now. But
Right.
if you guys are talking too much through text, then that's one of the ways to do it.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, and you can also add that I want to, like, I'm about to sleep.
Yeah,
That's
I've used
another.
that one before. I've definitely used
Yes.
that one before.
Okay, yeah. So that one's also, like, I won't be honest. I use that quite frequently, sometimes, like here and there nowadays, just because, like, I want to go to sleep. And I'm actually going to sleep sometimes, but sometimes I'm just like want to watch my show. I don't want to be distracted through the fun.
Right.
But yeah, so that's true. Another thing. That's it. Those questions really like caught my attention. What is?
Yeah, they're pretty solid, right? And they kind of hit all the ranges that most guys have a tendency of asking often, right? The body count one, the one about looks, the one about money, you know, friends. You know, oftentimes you're going to find that, you know, women are always surrounded by friends, and
Right.
sometimes they can be attractive men, and you're just like, yeah, but that guy doesn't really seem like he's a friend. So that could be a situation of like friend zoning, right, where she's friend zoned him, or he's friend zoned her, which that could be very problematic for you. You definitely have to be diligent about that one. But yeah, I mean, just, you know, if a girl has guy friends, then, you know, I would say that if she wants to be in a relationship with you, right? Because this goes to, like, you know, the fact that you guys are in a committed relationship. If she has guy friends and, you know, she's trying to hang out with these guy friends while she's in a relationship with you often, or not even often, I would say at all, if she's trying to hang out with any guy friends, that's telling of something that can probably be problematic and something that's lying underneath the surface of your relationship that you think is nothing, but could definitely be something, right? That could be lying, that could be manipulation, that could be the fact that she wants to be with you because she doesn't like not having a boyfriend, which doesn't necessarily mean that she likes you like that all the way. She doesn't have that burning, genuine desire like we've talked about in the past. She just doesn't want to be lonely.
Yeah, and then there's another thing too, like being in the other shoes. Because I've been in this situation that I've been the older guy, like, you know, like the geeker cheated with. So one advice that I would tell the guys, you know, like if you're going through the situation, is that if she doesn't hang out with your friends, like her friends and you, that's a clear sign that she's cheating on you with the guy. Because I've been in the situation that I met this girl. She didn't really tell me that she was in a relationship, but she told me that like, you know, they were like on and off, blah blah. She was like talking to another dude, whatever. But I found out later on, like couple years ago, and she's like, "Oh yeah, so I'm still with the guy," and we were at like in a break, kind of like, you know how friends happen, like friends, like we were on the break. But the true reality is that I know myself that she was lying to me, that, you know, she was single. And when we would come to talk, I mean, I was clear with my intentions. I didn't tell her like I'm not looking for a relationship or anything. So I was clear with my intentions. I think she saw the opportunity, just, you know, it's gonna be a flake thing. And
yeah, a little fling, right? And, you know,
yeah.
to that end, if people are going to do that, because men can do that too, right? It's not just women only.
True.
It's just that women can get away with it a lot better. You know,
They're better aligned.
yeah, they're better. They can be much better aligned than us men. Shit, I forgot where I was going with that.
No, but true. So like my advice is like, if the girl is not hanging out with her friends and partner, then it might be a red flag. Hey, red flag. Red.
I got it.
flag.
I remembered.
Go ahead.
So yeah, like anybody's going to be able to do this, right? If they're going to lie to you and be manipulative and deceiving, it's going to happen. There's no way for you to stop that, right? At that point, it's just you being able to just see people for who they are. And you only really get to see people's true nature when you spend enough time with them, when the facade starts breaking down, when you start seeing who they really are, when they can't really lie to you anymore because you're around them too much. people can only lie to you for so long. At some point, the lie is going to break.
Definitely.
And once that breaks, there you go. Now you get to see who this person really is. There's something that's called the honeymoon phase in a relationship. And that's supposed to be like the first 6 months of a new relationship. You guys are infatuated with each other. You have a bunch of hormones going on. So you guys don't really see each other's negatives, or you don't see each other's bad sides or anything like that. Everything is just positive, sunshines and rainbows, right? But after 6 months, that's when you start seeing, who this person actually is, what their character is, like what their intentions are.
Begins. I feel like after the 6 months, that's when the shit test begins. Yeah, that's probably when your shit tests are going to be in, right? And you need to be, if you're not the guy that you presented yourself to be initially, then that's where the character is going to break down. You just putting on this lie just to impress the woman, just to, get her into bed, it's going to break apart. And then that's when she's going to see who you really are. But that's simultaneously going to be when you're going to see who she really is. Is she this kind of girl that she's presenting herself to be? Or is she something else, right? Is she somebody that likes to lie and deceive and manipulate? Maybe she likes to sleep around a lot, but likes to have boyfriends because, again, going back to being alone. And if you're the guy that's on the other side of that, like she's cheating with you on her boyfriend, or vice versa, you're cheating on your girl with some other girl and you're the other girl, it's going to happen. And you're not going to be able to stop that. So, don't kick yourself. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you. That's just the nature of life, man. There's no, we go back to it every time, right? There's no wrong choice. There's just consequences to your actions. Absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. Not just, me giving the advice to the guys, because at the same time, I don't really feel like shitty after, I find out that I was that guy. Oh, actually, this happened to me quite often. I don't know why.
You shouldn't be. If anything, you should feel accomplished.
But I'm not actually complimented. I feel complimented, yeah. But
I remember this quote. Two of them, actually. So it goes, the first one is, women don't like a man that cheats, but they love a man that could cheat. Right? Right. So it's not that he's cheating that they like the guy. I mean, sometimes women do, and then, it speaks more to them than about the guy. But the fact that the guy has the options and the ability to, bounce from his girl because he is the kind of man that, and this goes to the other quote, that other men want to be and other women want to be with, that kind of summarizes like the whole dynamic of a relationship. You want to be with the best person possible. And if this man has the ability to, if you start acting a certain way and you personally know that you're not acting the proper way, or you're being, disrespectful or annoying, or, you're not giving him the value that you initially imposed, and like when we first started the relationship, and he's like, you know what, this is not what I want. And, I can get what I want elsewhere. And that's the end of our relationship. Definitely. That demands respect, right? Like with business, right? Like the strongest negotiating position is the one where you can walk away from it. Absolutely. If you're in a position where you're needy and you need this to work in order to feel good about yourself, you're done. You have to have the options, the confidence, and the ability to walk away if the situation isn't what you want.
Definitely. No, this all comes down to also remember what should we look into a girl. Like, she has to have her own purpose, because the fact that you can walk away anytime, that means that she can go about her life as well. Because eventually you're gonna start caring for her, even if she does you wrong, you want to make sure that she's good after you leave. So yeah, no, the questions or the lies that he mentioned on the video is really, really hits the point. What do you think about I won't tell anyone? That one actually is still in my head. And the last one, I couldn't hear it clearly. I don't know if you heard
Basically, he was saying that women fake orgasms at the end.
Oh shit, yeah. Actually, that's true in a sense. I mean, you gotta be honest. Like, when it comes to bed, I feel like it's all about, the intimate talk that you guys have at the end. Like,
the
after
cuddling.
You just have sex, and then you just lay down in bed.
Cuddle.
You just cuddling, just talk. That's usually when I start asking her questions about what do you like? What do I do different? Do you see what I tried something or whatever? I remember this because this has worked for me. That's when she's most vulnerable. vulnerable, and so are you. So
yeah, that's
that's
where
when
you guys are the most open.
exactly, because you're already seeing each other naked. You already, you already you did your thing, and boom, that's when the connection, the real connection, begins. So that's when you start opening up, and so it just doesn't become like a problem, like, she faking an orgasm, especially if this is from early relationships. Remember, girls, they need to feel that same pleasure as you do. So if you're not giving it to her and you're not working towards improving your skills to do it, she's
Somebody else
eventually
will.
gonna go find somewhere else. So you gotta be careful with that. And definitely, I think I didn't hear clearly when he mentioned that, but that definitely I agree
It
with that.
didn't. He was just like acting it out, like, oh my god, that feels so good. Just keep doing that right there, and I'm gonna finish. And then
Oh, I did
that's why
not.
he was. That's why he was
Yeah.
like peak son watching the Kardashians because she's bored of the sex because you're not hitting her right.
Oh shit! Yeah, very much.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
really.
Going back to the first question about her telling
Mhm.
like you were saying, don't say this to other people, blah blah blah. I always assume and operate on the assumption that it's really hard to keep secrets, so might as well try not to tell people secrets that you don't want them to know, or if it's a situation where like it was out of your hands and like unless it's like some crazy shit where you killed somebody and
Yeah.
you're telling her not to tell somebody. Well, I mean, in that situation, then you better hope that she's a ride or die, because otherwise you're screwed. Because she's gonna tell the wrong person, you're going to jail.
Yeah, actually, let me piggyback from what you just said about ride or die. I feel like opening up to your dark secrets, if you have any, or like most vulnerable secrets that might conflict you, maybe work or personal life or whatever it is, like a secret that you did, you have to make sure the girl is a ride or die before you telling it to her. Because at the end of the day, you do want to be honest, but you don't want to be that honest or that deeply honest from early stages because you don't know her well. Unless, okay, so this is my approach to it, or what I think might be a good approach. Unless if the secret is not hurting anyone, or doesn't affect you directly or your family or anybody around you, then it's fine to tell her. Because she might tell her mom, she might tell her sisters or her best friends or whatever, but ultimately that secret is not hurting anyone. And yeah, it might be kind of, it's a secret, it's kind of like building the trust. At the same time, it can be a way to test how trustful she is. But I feel like eventually she tells somebody, and her best friend, she's gonna know, but it's only gonna be them two. So assume that from the beginning, assume that whatever secret you tell the girl that you are starting to date is going to be, it's not going to really be a secret, but
They're not gonna stick it for much longer, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I definitely.
It's hard. It's definitely a hard thing, right? So, like, again, if anything, operate from the point of view, like, try not to have secrets if you can help it. I mean, we're all gonna have secrets at some point, but if you can help it, just try to live as honestly and truthfully as you possibly can. That way, you don't really have to waste your time thinking about, oh, what did I tell this person, or what shouldn't have I not told that person, or what happened before that I shouldn't say. But yeah, I think that concludes everything. We pretty much hit all the points, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like to one point or another, woman or man, we all lie to each other, and
we all want something.
Yeah. So
and lying is usually the best way to get it.
Usually, there's some things like he mentioned. This is usually not to hurt the man's ego, but ultimately we end up finding out some way, somehow. And I feel like when you, as a man, lie to a girl, they actually tend to find out more quicker than we do. But it's a mutual thing. So try not to lie to each other, and that would be the best advice. Just be honest.
If anything, take everything that was just said there, right, from that video, and like just again, don't get upset. I mean, you might get upset about it from the point of view of like, hey, she told me she only slept with like 5 guys, and then to find out she slept with like 30.
15.
Well, I mean, that there's something to be said about that. But from that point of view, just operate from the procedure that these are probably going to be fundamental truths that you're going to come across throughout a majority of the women that you come to know or, have relationships with. So just accept it for what it is and not what you want it to be or hope it to be. right? Because one of the things that, I've seen throughout, just living and experiencing is that, men are a little bit more idealistic and romantic when it comes to the point of view of relationships. While
True.
women are a little bit, even though it doesn't seem like it, they're a little bit more pragmatic, and, they take things from what it is. They take it for what it is and not what they want it to be. So don't try to be idealistic with the way you approach people in general, right? Because, you hope that people are being kind and truthful to you, but oftentimes that's not going to be the case. So you got to just assume that, people are operating in their best interest, and usually their best interest isn't really your best interest.
Definitely. I
And that's
completely
it.
agree with that. All right. And just to wrap it up, I think this was an interesting topic. And yeah, that's it.
Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the
I
next one.
hope you enjoyed it. Absolutely. And enjoy the weekend as well, because it's Saturday.
Mhm.
This is